Good morning. Today I read aloud the article Fashion trends are often recycled. Now more clothing can be too. Designers and tech startups are working to improve sustainability and interrupt the path to the landfill. This article is part of our new series Currents, which examine how rapid advances in technology are transforming our life. Sustainability in the fashion industry was once the focus on of only a handful of designers like Stella McCartney and outdoor gear companies such as Patagonia. But traditional and new brands are trying to improve a supply chain increasingly criticized for contributing to landfills and causing all other forms of pollution throughout the manufacturing process. From collaborating on the creation of biofiber to the manufacturing and of environmentally friendly tax fastener. Some in the apparel sector are working with technology startups to clean up the world's closet. The biggest problem rests with the volume of unwanted clothing that winds up in landfills. According to the Island MacArthur Foundation, which work to foster sustainability clothing production globally, roughly doubled from 2000 to 2015. During the same period, the number of times the garment was worn declined by 36%. Although the same thought the equivalent of one garbage truck full of clothes is burned or dumped in a landfill every second. The report found. Over roughly the same period, according to World Economic Forum, 60% more garments were purchased, but consumers kept them for only half as long. But some companies, like H&M, are trying to increase their own sustainability while also encourage consumers to keep garments out of the trash. At H&M's flagship store in Stockholm, for example, customers can pay nominal amount to have unwanted clothing transformed into new garments through a process that breaks down the old fiber and combines them with new ones. The 8-step process is designed to make a point, not a profit. We want to engage our customer and make them understand that their own garments hold value, said Pascal Branch, S&M head of sustainability. But traditional mechanical recycling that is in wider use has its limits. As shiny as the fashion industry is on the outside, the supply chains has often relied on 19th century equipment, said Stacy Flynn, the founder of Avenue. a startup based in Seattle. Companies like Miss Flynn seek to reduce fiber to their basic chemical components and build them back up with less impact. Avenue, Avenue's first product, which Miss Flynn said she hoped would become commercially available this year, converts the cotton garment to lyocell, a cellulose fiber that is now made only from oat. The process called New Seal will update the initial cycling step of sorting, cutting, grading, and threading fabric by adding a camera that can more accurately identify a fabric's composition. Decorative trim, the content of the label, or even the thread used can reduce the cotton content by as much as 30%. It's like the difference between cooking and baking. You can be lost with ingredients when cooking, but with baking you must be precise, Miss Flynn said. It's the same way with chemical recycling. If you know what you've got, you can optimize the process. First, the heart of technology lies in the next step at the pulp mill, where the threaded fabric is dissolved and turned into pulp. That pulp becomes a thick paper to be shipped to the next part of the textiles supply chain. The fiber produced there it is repolymerized to make lyocell. Avenue has patented with several brands including Adidas and Miss McKinney to use the rice fiber in the fabrics. When the consumer is done with it, or if the brand is stuck in a dog, those garments can all come back into the system, be repolymerized and turned into something new, Miss Flynn said. Another area of interest involves new fibers and materials that rely on products that are found in nature but not derived from animals. Several companies, for example, are developing alternatives to leather since have a particularly problematic from the mutant products producing coal that produce it to tanning, methods that often involve toxic chemicals like chromium, vegan leather. Despite its environmentally friendly name, it's no better because it uses plastic, satin, suturous, a motorist scientist and an acetin processor as the Frozen Institute of Technology in New Art. One alternative is mushroom, a mushroom laser which relies on mycelium or mushroom roast to reduce an animal-free alternative. Mycelium has been used for thousands of years in a variety of ways. Dear Stewards said, even to dress clothes, but entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs and designers have set their sights higher. In addition to both thread, a fiber and a material produce that gain attention that lasts for when it announced its products and collaboration with several designers or the company like Microwork are developing lasers from mycelium. Microwork's chief executive Matthew Skillen said that while the company was exploring using automotive unfortunately, their current emphasis was on apparel and footwear. FIT's Dear Stewards is part of a team of Columbia University working on a biolaser alternative. This a naturally dyed micro sneaker that is part of Slow Factory one alternative initiative referring to the non-profit that works on sustainability and climate issues. The pandemic has forced her work from home rather than at a lab, but she has found a clever workaround. She used her backpack to test how well the biolaser that had been treated and embedded with the plant-based tanning technology would break down. In this case, decomposition is a good thing. After burning, the test the mass of the materials as well as the pH and the nutrition of the soil for 60 days. Her home page experience, she said, found that after 7 days, the shrimps had visibly deteriorated, were smaller in size, and had lost over 60% of their mass. Dear Stewards is also a co-founder and the chief science officer of World, which is developing a fiber and alternative. Started by three of her former students at FIT, the company seeks to create biodegradable fiber based on the DNA of protein that already exist in nature. Dear Sears has worked as well on an enzyme based on Jan also began at the school, which is part of the State University of New you asked. Research is done in collaboration with Columbia, where the Cyrus has a research scientist appointment. Companies holding to provide cradle-to-cradle solution. The term used for processes that intend to keep materials within a circular economy mindful of the end state of materials. At the start of the design process. That is the idea behind Thousand Francs, a footwear maker that uses primarily recycled materials, said the company co-founder Klaus Schangers. Thousand Francs also wants to make it easier for consumers to resize their shoes. You can do some great design thinking and great production, but if you're not set up to actively collect product, it's a little bit in vain, said Stuart Armstrong, the company's co-founder. To that end, in November, Thousand Francs teamed up with apps to provide consumers with an easier way to recycle their worn-out footwear. While ultimately, these developments will transform the fashion world as long as customers buy in. The look and feel as well as the price have to work. If you could make a shoe for $400, but no one buys it, it defeats the purpose. Mr. Arnholm said. Additionally, being environmentally friendly is not enough. As the scholar of Michael said, there is expectation floating around that consumers are willing to sacrifice quality for sustainability. But they are not. Oh. They are not. The end. Thank you for listening.